9 months ago, we gave our testimony for Fearless and shared with everyone that we had gone through a season of 5 miscarriages and just shared about all of the healing that God had done in our lives through that, continuing to have hope that God would bring his kids even though it seemed like it was impossible. And
statistically, they told us it almost was impossible. We decided after our last loss that we would try to figure out from a medical standpoint why we keep going through this.
Yeah, we had
we did exactly
full
that.
workup done. Yeah. Went through a lot of testing. 2 days after the testimony was shared at Fearless, we got the results back. They gave us a call and said, it looks like it's a genetic condition, and that was what I was hoping not to hear. And I said, do we need to do any other further testing? And they said, really, anyone who gets these conclusions, that's it. This is it.
That basically put us into a debate of, well, now what?
It was wrestling the promise that God had given me and wrestling with grief from 5 previous losses, wrestle with what our future looked like, how to trust God with our future. And I had to trust God no matter what. And it was really hard to surrender to that extent, to be like, no matter what he had in mind. So I really had to have a funeral to the future I was expecting us to have. There was a lot of friends who suggested I read through a couple books. In one of the books, it was talking about how we can sometimes get in the way of what God has promised us. We can get in the way of him fulfilling those promises in our lives. And I felt really convicted about that because after our 5th loss, we really stopped trying to have kids. It was scary and there was a lot of grief there. There was a process we had to go through. So I went up to him after reading through one of these books and I said, this is what we're looking at. There's risk if we continue trying. There's risk if we go through IVF, my body could reject it. There's risk in adoption, the birth parents could back out last minute. There's risk in anything, any option we take, but God's promise is the same. God's promise says that I'm gonna give you a home and you're gonna become a happy mother. So if I trust that and I let everything else go, then we have to make sure that we're not getting in the way of that. So we continued to try again. After we surrendered and really trusted God with our future, I felt prompted to take a pregnancy test, and it was positive. I walked in the room, showed him the test. I said, okay, we're pregnant again, and we're gonna choose to trust God, so we're gonna celebrate life no matter what, no matter how long we get that life.
From the beginning,
we're gonna celebrate. So we had our first ultrasound or doctor's appointment at about 10 weeks. We go in, 2 seconds after the ultrasound started, she goes like, oh, there's the heartbeat. It's beating strong. We're like, I'm sorry, slow down. Can you say that again?
Repeat. And it was, she didn't know what we had been through. For her, this is something that, like I said,
procedure.
You go on, you get that checkup and you're done. You walk out of here saying, hey, you have a baby. For me, I was like, oh.
Yeah, first heartbeat we've ever seen, and it was strong. And she was just commenting on the development, and the baby was right on track. Everything looked great. It was just words we didn't expect to hear. I mean, I think we both just kind of, it took a while. Even walking out of there, like, this is real. The heartbeat's there, baby's healthy. I can't believe this is happening.
We had never gotten to that point. So to have this life now come to life was just a perfect celebration moment for us.
Yeah.
And celebrate the fact that there's life